Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are you guys doing? Welcome to another Monday night, which means another episode. I think it's episode 240 of Cliff Notes Live. And it's during Big Brother season, which is obviously our favorite time of the year. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Welcome to all of y'all. Start off with big old SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love reality TV. I love Big Brother, and I love hanging with you guys every Monday night. Thank you so much for that. And I love doing my morning recaps for those of you who may or may not be checking those out. Feel free to check those out as well. But if you have already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel, turning on notifications that way you get notifications whenever I drop those morning recaps. And you can always hit old thumbs up while you're out there, because you know I'm all into the thumbs up anywhere, everywhere I go. And with that, oh my God, there's so much going on this. We got a lot of talk about. It's going to be all Big Brother related, I think. If you got other reality shows, mention them. I'll just warn you, I'm probably a little behind on the others because my brain's all Big Brother this week. This month. Let me see who else out here, and then we're going to get right into it. If you're new to it, I'm going to cover as many questions as I can. I got my stage manager / my wife helping me out. So we'll cover as much as we can. Just get them out there and we'll talk about it all. All right, let me see who else out here, and we're going to go quick with it. Lee Strack. Lee, how are you doing? My friend, howdy. Marilyn Sutherland as well. Karen Hummer. Let's see. Oh, y'all are having quite the conversation. I'll have to go back and check it out a little bit later. All right. Carol Mosier as well. Howdy, Carol. Ed's out here. Big Jake 88. Howdy, Big Jake. Tommy Braskett, Michelle Moore, Amanda, Desiree Watts, Tina Harlan Sandstedt, Cindy Hire. Hey, Cindy, how are you doing? I missed your name, I think, last week, so I hope you're doing fantastic. Lynn Gideon as well. Angie Hung. Howdy, Angie. Rita Case, Lori Disselberger. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Lori Dis. That's an easy way to pronounce it as well. Did I say Paula Scar? I'll say it again, Paula. Let's see. Karen Loveland. Dr. Bose. Howdy, Doctor. How are you, sir? Doreen Morris, Shelly Moore, Chaz, Terry Thomas, Ken T, Kennedy Franklin. Man, guys, I love seeing y'all out here. Sheila Rivera, Patricia Millard, Andy W, Ed, TJ Kaz. Let's see. Brian Hustler. Hey, Brian, how are you, sir? Leah Cheyenne Grames, Greg Harmon, Joanne Malozzi Friedman, and Arno Stu 1, and Terry Thomas. I didn't cover y'all right, Terry. You know what I love? I love seeing the names I see out here every single week. Yeah, my family, my reality TV, my Cliff Notes Live family. I love seeing y'all, but I also love seeing the new names out here. If y'all are fans of Big Brother and that drew you in, you came to the right spot. What do y'all think? All right, now, first of all, before we talk about Big Brother, and we got some questions, real quick, it was an incredible weekend for me. I actually went to Eastern Tennessee and watched my fellow house guest, Ovi Kabir, get married to his longtime girlfriend, Hannah. So Ovi and Hannah got married. So much fun. Went over there, went to the wedding. Tommy was there with his husband. Kat was there with her boyfriend. Nicole was there with her husband. We all got to hang. David Alexander was there as well, looking as sharp as ever. So we all got to hang together, revisit with each other, had a blast, and we got to celebrate a beautiful couple as well. Had a lot of fun doing that. Talked a lot of Big Brother as well. Most of them keep up with it. Certainly a few of us especially so. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. But with that and the live feeds, trying to keep track of the veto competition while I was also doing wedding stuff. Yeah, it was an exciting, busy weekend. Had a blast doing it. It is cool. You get in this house, and we're going to talk about it. We've got people starting to really go at each other. You're so aggressive. You're so at each other's throat inside the house. But when you get out, some people, not all of them, but a lot of people are able to just say, it's the end. It's a shared experience. And then you become friends, which is what we've done. I wouldn't have it any other way. All right. With that being said, there's a lot of questions. So let's just get right into it. And I'm going to try to cover as many of them as I can. Lee Strack saying, one crazy week in the Big Brother house. Yeah, that's a good way to start it. Absolutely. Marilyn Sutherland saying, excited as always, even if Mickey is crazy. Yeah. What do y'all think? And for those of you, let me cover a bunch of these real quick. Carol Mosier saying, what do you think of Mickey's replacement nomination? All right. For those of you, let me start with this. This is a spoiler-rich environment. If you've only watched up to Sunday night's episode, you've seen the takeover, the HOH takeover. So that's not a spoiler, but we're going to talk a lot beyond that as well. You know what? I don't blame Mickey at all for the takeover. If not now, when? This was a perfect time to take her. She was getting ready to go on the block. I mean, we thought, right? I mean, Riley said, I didn't know who I was going to put on the block. Yeah, he did. He knew exactly. And it was going to be Morgan and Ashley and Mickey. So I don't blame her at all. I'm a little surprised that she pulled it off. I thought enough people in the house suspected her. But apparently Ashley did a decent acting job. Maybe Rachel did a little acting job. Maybe Morgan did a little acting job. And you know what? At the end of it, maybe it's to do with their acting. Maybe it's just that Riley is very confident in everything he does and says. He doesn't seem to be open to a lot of opinions from other folks. It's the Riley way or no way. It's just the impression I'm getting. And once he decided that it was Ashley who had the power, he wasn't going to deviate from that opinion. Some people don't like to ever acknowledge they're wrong or pivot based on that. I think Riley could be one of those. Doesn't matter. It worked. She took over. Riley was upset, and if you saw the episode, you saw him, calling people liars and all that. Well, what are you supposed to do? I don't have any problem with that. Was he a little too vocal? Perhaps so. I was never a yeller in the house. I think you can get your point across without being overly loud and all that. But I would be very upset. During my HOH, Christy came in with her diamond power veto, threatening to completely disrupt my HOH and putting up someone that potentially was going to be on my side. I had to work some deals to make that go as best as possible. So I know what it's like to have your HOH hijacked. And so I understand why Riley was so upset, especially that he didn't even get his pictures or letters or anything. So, did he overreact? Maybe a little bit, but I get it. But it's so crazy the way it all happened. So anyway, I need to go faster so we can get your questions. They had the veto competition on Saturday. Worst possible case for everyone except Keanu, because Keanu wins a veto competition. We were sitting around the reception table after the wedding ceremony and all trying to keep track. Saw Keanu won. We all had jaws dropped. He pulled himself off the block today. For those of you who don't know, the replacement nominee is Jimmy. Yeah, we thought it was going to be Kat. Riley put the fear of God in the Mickey that, hey, if you put her up, I'm going to go ballistic. I don't know if it's that as much as Mickey just felt like she is developing a relationship with Riley that she may be able to utilize on down the road. And everyone just started recognizing that Jimmy is not necessarily someone that anyone can trust because he's just got his feelers out with too many people. Jimmy's on the block. I was watching some live feeds earlier. He's feeling worried, as he should. Rachel said, you got to win Blockbuster. Well, Rachel's saying, it's not you need to. She's saying, you will win Blockbuster. He needs to, or he's probably going home. So, yeah. What a crazy weekend indeed. It's incredible. I can't believe that Mickey, I kind of get it. I think Mickey and this decision is not as much of an issue with me as last week with Lauren putting up Adrian. I thought that was a complete mistake. Sending out someone that really is on your side. At least with Mickey putting up Jimmy, it's someone that they started feeling like they couldn't necessarily trust and that was stirring up a lot of trouble. And she saw it as an opportunity to bring in some people from the other side. So I get all of that. Is it someone that would have come after her? No, probably not. But at the same time, it's someone that it's a bit of a resume builder, and it's someone that she didn't feel like she could work with a lot going forward. So I think it's a little more grayish area in terms of whether it was a right or wrong decision. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out in the end. All right, Karen Hummer is saying, I really like the HOH takeover, brings out a lot of conversations across all alliances. It certainly shocked everyone, right? It was incredible. And Ma's saying, like the power itself, just not how the week has been going. Expect the unexpected, right? I am surprised, Ma, that it went this way. I wasn't sure. I didn't think that she would turn around, and I didn't know that Keanu was going to win again. I didn't know that she was going to turn on Jimmy. So yeah, it's wild the way it all worked out. Here's the deal. Some of y'all may be aware of it. Some of you not. Friday morning, I had to tape this show just a little bit earlier than my morning recap, a little earlier than normal, because I had a flight out of Houston at 7:20 in the morning. So I got up super early. I filmed my recap. the feeds are down. I said, God, we didn't even get to see Riley get his HOH room. The feeds have been down, so I don't really know what's going on. Record my show, post it, get to the airport. And as I'm getting ready to get on the airplane, all of a sudden I start seeing all these things coming in saying, oh, it was an HOH takeover. Riley's having a fit. He's no longer. Mickey's in charge. All of this stuff hit. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting on a plane. And now I'm hearing this. I'm going to be on a plane for the next 2 hours. So I very quickly did and thanks to some of y'all who reached out to me on that morning recap, said, hey, Cliff, you're behind. You need to update. I got caught up real quick, added on a little update before I hopped on that plane. So thank you to those of you who let me know. I absolutely appreciate when I get a little heads up like that. But yeah, so then I'm on the plane thinking, what in the world is going on in the Big Brother house? I'm talking to Sharon and say, are you watching live feeds? Tell me what's going on. And yeah, what a week. It started off on a Friday, then the veto comp, no one knowing. And then today, it's probably been one of my favorite weeks so far of the past few Big Brother seasons. And it's probably not over. I mean, we're going to get all kinds of campaigning. Jimmy ought to be turning it on right now. One person, was it Zach, I think, that was worried that Jimmy may blow up their side of the house. If it looks like he's going home, he may just absolutely blow up a lot of his deals and connections and people saying this and that. Go out with a bang, so to speak. Vincent said that if he was going up, he was going to call Jimmy out and go out with a bang. Well, maybe it's Jimmy's turn to do the same thing. Now, the issue is, he can't do that too much because there's always a chance he's going to win that blockbuster. And if he does that, you don't want to stay in the house after you've blown up all your alliances. So we probably won't see a lot of that. But if he loses the blockbuster as his campaign speech, talking in front of the house, with Julie Chin watching, I wonder if he may throw a few things out there if he just thinks it's a done deal. We'll see. He's all about making a show for the viewers, right? He's talked about that over and over. We got to give him a show. Well, Jimmy, we got a show going on, and you're the main star, unfortunately, at this point. All right, Ken T is saying the Houseguests are messy this season. Messy in their gameplay or messy in the way they're doing dishes and eating and all of that? It's kind of both, in my opinion. Phil Burton is saying enjoying Mickey's HOH until she made a mistake not putting up Kat. I'm not going to disagree with you, but as I said before, I see a little bit of I can see her viewpoint on it. If she puts up Kat, and I agree, they talk so much about wanting Kat on the block, getting her out the door, and they just were ready to gun for Kat. Suddenly now they're hearing these people saying, hey, Jimmy was telling Kat that you and Morgan were going to put her on the block, that you were going after her. So of course she's going to be talking about y'all. And suddenly you start hearing people saying, hey, someone's trying to push your buttons in order to get you to behave a certain way. And it just kind of irritates you. It's like when we had the wall yeller in my season and they were saying, oh, Tommy knows Christy. Well, as it turns out, it's true. But I was very irritated that someone is trying to push my buttons, trying to manipulate me in the way they are. And I feel like to some degree, she suddenly said, well, this may be because now we can basically throw someone under the bus. I can talk to Keanu, I can talk to Riley, I can talk to Kat, I can talk to all of these people and say, look, all of this animosity back and forth, it was all based on one person throwing y'all under the bus. And we've heard a lot of that. Keanu talking to Morgan and Mickey, and just a lot of people kind of coming clean right now and saying, hey, it wasn't me, it was what I was being told. Sometimes it's true, sometimes that's not true. But suddenly it's almost like everyone gets a clean slate recheck to some degree. And so I think Mickey is recognizing that she can make something happen. I saw her just a little while ago sitting out by the pool with Riley, and Riley was so appreciative of the fact that she did not put Kat up. Riley has sworn that he'll fall on the sword for Kat. I feel like he's almost at that point with Mickey saying, I got you. He said something about you may not ever be able to trust her. And I think he may have been talking about Rachel. Not sure. He said, you may not be able to trust her, but you'll always be able to trust me. And I got you from this point on. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I can see the merit to her leaving Kat alone and building up that side of the house and not necessarily making herself a big target. There's a lot of people who may have put her up a few days ago, that now are probably going to be looking elsewhere. So I'm kind of okay with it. Again, we'll see how it plays out. It may backfire on her. It may take her to the very end. We'll see. It's going to be a resume builder no matter what, right? All right, Brian Haas there saying, crazy they're turning on their own alliance. So many people turning on these alliances. And now say Mickey is very good at telling people what they want to hear. So it's hard when I do these recaps. Are you being serious about this, or is this just a situational promise or conversation that changes completely next week? And that's what I was wondering about Riley and Kat. If Riley does all this and Kat doesn't go on the block, does she turn around a week from now and still put up Mickey and Morgan and Ashley as on the block instead? I don't know. We did hear Kat tell Riley at one point, say, look, if she doesn't put me up, I'm not going to put her up, and I'm going to be very grateful, and I'm going to recognize that. But if she does, I'm not ever going to forget. Either we're going to be really good friends, or we're going to be really bad enemies, one or the other. I didn't know if she was serious about that. I didn't know if Riley was serious about working with Mickey. I'm kind of getting the feeling they are. Now, that could all change in 3 days, but for right now, we'll see. All right, Phil Burton saying, too soon, it's going to backfire. It may. It's a long season. We're in week number, day number 27. So week number, basically week 4. You got 13 days or whatever, or 13 weeks left, or not 13 weeks. You got 9 weeks left or something like that. Ed saying Vince's HOH looking like the best of the bunch. That's crazy. It seems so calm and sedate compared to now, right? I mean, Jimmy was up there. Jimmy had to nominate, 5 different people, created a lot of enemies because of that. Vince comes along and doesn't seem like he's really gotten any blood on his hands whatsoever. Lauren comes in, most boring HOH in the world, and she'll get criticism for sending out Adrian. I still feel so sorry for Adrian. But yeah, and now Riley and Mickey and all that. Yeah, Vince, way to just keep it calm during your particular deal. I thought it was funny that at one point when Lauren won HOH, Jimmy and Vince both came to her and said, "Hey, we've won HOH before, so we'll help you. We'll help guide you through the process and understand what it's like to be HOH. We'll pass it on to you, and we'll be you're our little Padawan. We're the HOH masters that'll help you figure all this out." Well, then I saw the same thing. I think it was to Mickey that Lauren was approaching and saying, "Hey, I've been it before, so let me give you some advice on this and this and this on how you need to handle it." Nothing against Lauren, but I'm probably not listening to a lot of Lauren HOH advice right now. But hey, she's still here. No one's targeting Lauren, so maybe I shouldn't be too judgmental just yet in the way this is all working out. But yeah, everyone turning on their alliances so much, which just tells me that these alliances are alliances of convenience and not actual bonding type situations. It's the heavy hitters. They're turning the heavy hitters. I think someone said to Mickey, said, "Hey, if you put Jimmy up, heavy hitters are done for." She said, "They're already done for. There's no such thing as the heavy hitters anymore. There may be some new version that pops up, but right now there's no heavy hitters." I do think we're seeing lines being drawn in the sand. Now, it may shift. There may be people jumping over those lines based on Jimmy going up and all that. But I do feel not just lines in the house, but I think there's also lines for us as viewers, right? First week or two, we're all trying to feel everyone out. Who do we like? Who do we not like? And all that. By now, I bet I could ask every single one of y'all out here, and y'all are going to have someone that you really, really like, and you're going to have someone that you really, really don't like at all. So we as viewers are starting to see lines drawn in the sand. And I'm seeing it in some of the postings that are being made on Twitter, Instagram, places like that. Just remember, we try to stay positive, and they're doing the best they can. Some are doing it better than others. But yeah, I definitely see viewers starting to get very passionate about certain people in this game, good and bad. All right, Cash Wash. Hey, Cash Wash, how are you doing? Jimmy is not the worst move. The best move. Sorry, Jimmy's not the best move, but it's entertaining. I understand not putting up Kat. Going Jimmy versus say Vince versus I don't know Rachel or whoever you want to do. I think there's some wiggle room to argue whether Jimmy was the best one or not. I agree with you on that. It does seem like Mickey said at one point, says everyone just keeps throwing out his name. And if that's the case, maybe, of course, here's the deal. And Will said this at one point. If you're playing all sides, it means you have no side, which I get. But at the same time, if you're getting out everyone, if you're getting out someone that everyone suddenly seems to want out, is it helping your game or are you just treading water? There's probably other people who are every bit as happy as you are that Jimmy may be heading out the door. So, it may, yes, it's going to help resume perhaps, but I don't know just yet if it's going to benefit Mickey more than some of the other people. In terms of some working relationships, potentially so. There was a lot of conversation last night between Mickey and Morgan. Mickey was saying, look, I know we're working with Vince and Zach, but they're a lot closer to you than they are to me. Am I crazy to keep them on board when I know they would pick you over me? Well, if you'd put Vince up, then yes, you'd be a little bit on the crazy train side. I think I probably shouldn't use that word, but y'all know what I mean. You don't get rid of your closest allies. Even if you think that may be a little closer attached to someone beside yourself, you work with them because there's a lot of time left in the game and you can always turn on them a little bit later. You can always offer them up as a pawn or throw out there, whatever. You work with them short term because it's all about the votes and the support and the numbers, and you don't throw away your allies, even if they like someone else a little bit better. You just can't do that at this stage of the game. I think there's several house guests who do, and getting back to that one comment, there are several house guests that may need to slow their roll just a little bit. Remember, it's a long season, and it seems like they're trying to maybe do a little too much, a little too early. Way too many people spending way too much time thinking about who should or shouldn't go on jury. And don't worry about jury. I mean, you should, I suppose, but you got to get out the people that are the biggest threats to you right now. You got to keep the people that are going to push you along and help you the most in the game. Jury is something that you can handle jury management as you go a little bit further along. I mean, once you get to the jury, don't be mean and nasty to the people, but hey, whoever ends up on jury, and you just work with what you got. People would probably argue with me on that. They got more important things to worry about right now than trying to put Rachel as first person on the jury, first person, last person not on jury, things like that. But there's a lot of talk about that. And everyone has their own opinion. And it doesn't amount to a hill of beans right now. All right, Lynn Gideon is saying, is anyone checking out the house for hidden items, movable books, twisting scones? The mystery aspect of this house would have me checking everything. Yes. You see, you've already seen things like that. Yeah, why would you not? Now, I did see Rachel and Jimmy last week, I think it was last week, going around the house looking more for places where they could do hide and go veto, which, start looking around. But while you're doing that, you're right. I'd be removing every book, just hoping there's one that's a real book that I can actually read something. But I would be everything. I would be checking every floor tile. I'd be looking behind every plant, every statue, everything. Why not? You don't have anything else to do in that house. And there's got to be some more stuff, right? I would think so. Especially they found, a couple of weeks ago, they found that wall safe behind a picture. And once I hear that, I'm looking at everything. I did that during my season, and it wasn't even a mystery house. In fact, I got griped at a little bit because I was checking out areas for hide and go veto, and I actually looked behind the memory wall where all our photos are in the kitchen and all that. I looked behind it and got so much wiring and stuff back there, just everything. And I started kind of reach around back there to see if there's a spot to hide the hide and go veto. And stop that, Cliff, stop that. I guess they felt like there were too many wires, and either I would electrocute myself or I would accidentally knock off the picture of someone I wanted knocked off. Whatever. But yeah, I'd be checking everything out. There would not be a spot in that whole house that wasn't already inspected by me. And maybe they've done it, but I haven't seen it. Not really. And if they aren't doing it and I'm production, I'm telling someone, hey, while they're on lockdown some Thursday, go hide some stuff. I don't know, just go hide a slot pass or something to reward someone who's actually inquisitive enough to check everything out. They're too busy talking about who they want on jury, I guess. Michael Ewing saying the HOH takeover was the coin of destiny from Big Brother 23 with a twist. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that until you mentioned it, but yeah, I remember who 23. Who won that one? Was that Tiffany who won it? I don't remember. But yeah, you're right. That's very, very similar. It's and we've seen HOH takeovers before. I think the thing that was new was, and not common. I haven't seen a lot of them, but I think this interrogation aspect where Riley got to talk to everyone and ask them. I wish we'd seen that live. Why not? Let us see. It was only 3 minutes per person. It would have been fun for us to watch each person and see how each person responded, who did well, who didn't. We didn't get to see it. Thank you, live stream people, for hiding that from us. It would have been great, but yeah, that was a little bit new, and I didn't think Mickey was going to be able to pull it off. She proved me wrong. God, can you imagine Riley sitting there so excited? He's got Kat. He's like, hey, you can go hang out with me. And I think Kat said something like, I'll sleep in your bed, but we're not going to cuddle. Well, for Riley, it's still, victory. He's looking forward to that. He's telling Will, hey, you can come up here and sleep and you can get food and drinks, and feeling very magnanimous. That's a word, right? Magnanimous. I'm not going to try it again. Feeling very great about his situation. And in the span of 24 hours, not just he loses his HOH, he goes on the block. That's a tough way to go. Now, I had just the opposite. I was on the block. I was blindsided. Within a few hours, I went from being the very lowest of the low to winning the battle back, winning HOH, being up in the HOH room. I went from here to here. Unfortunately, Riley's gone from here to here. I'm feeling for the man. I truly am. Riley, what do y'all think about casting so far? I mean, I know y'all are, as I said, I know y'all have got some favorites. I know Riley in particular brings up a lot of passion from people. Some good, I suppose, a whole lot not so good. He's an interesting character. I look forward to meeting him to see how much of the Riley we see on the screen is real Riley versus what the Big Brother world does to you versus Riley in the real world. No, and I'm not going to comment yet, but he's bringing out a lot of passion from people. He's a very divisive figure, I suppose. We get one every season, and this time we got a few of them, it seems like. All right, Tim Cox is saying, the game of Big Brother is finally starting. Yeah, in fact, Riley said that, didn't say quite that, but he told Mickey, he said, as much as I'm upset that you did it, I understand why you did it. I've had time to reflect. I get it, and I'm fine with it. He said, I need to thank you. And he just told her this a couple hours ago. He said, I really need to thank you for doing that, because as much as I hated it, it's got me playing the game of Big Brother. It's made me realize I've got to play the game. I've got to work with people. I've got to figure out how to do things. I can't just sit in the house and let other people make all the decisions, or it's not going to go well for me. So now Riley is invested in the game of Big Brother. I think it's fired up, and not just him. I think it's fired up a lot of people. Suddenly, Jimmy seems like he was feeling very safe. Vince felt like he was feeling very safe. Zach had talked about last night that he was afraid maybe he could go on the block. I tell y'all over and over again, I don't care. I kind of care, but I don't really care who wins each season. But what I want is the winner and everyone playing this game to feel like they are on top of the world some weeks and absolutely feel like they are going out the door on Thursday. I want people having to fight every day to survive in this house. I want to see who comes out on top because they were forced to do what it took to come out on top. I don't want to see anyone coasting. Floaters, I don't have any problem with. Coasters, I got a big issue with. Flying under the radar the first couple of weeks, it's a strategy. I get it, and I can't fault it if you can make it work. But somewhere down the road, you better be called out and forced to do what it takes to stay in this house. That's what I want to see. And you're right. We're seeing a whole lot of people now starting to play the game. Rachel Riley, supposed to come in, just set the world on fire. She was talking about potentially offering up nomination at some degree. Chaz is saying, well, all right, what do you think about Rachel having a moment of trying to quit in code? For those of you who didn't see it, Rachel came in and told Mickey, said, I think it may be time for Ava to head out the door. Air quotes are wink, wink. Not sure. Like I did with before the wife. She said, I think Ava needs to go out of the house right now. She's not talking about the Ava that no one's going to send out of the house. She's talking about herself, Rachel Riley, as it became obvious, because she said, Ava's got this great life. She's got a family. She's got all these things going for her. And it just wouldn't be fair to Ava to make her the very first person on the jury. She had heard that Morgan and Mickey wanted to keep her till jury because they want her vote, but then they want Rachel gone as soon as jury starts. And Rachel doesn't want that. So she's saying, hey, maybe go ahead and send out Ava. And Ava would be very appreciative. And you're not going to make any enemies if you send Ava out the door. And Mickey's saying, I may have America furious with me. She, yeah, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. So we've got that. All right, let's see. Miss Fire saying, why hasn't anyone put Rachel up? Yeah, very, very good thought. Well, here's the thing. And we were talking about this. All of my Big Brother folks with me, we are all saying we get the way Big Brother's played. If Big Brother wants to bring someone back like a Rachel Riley, Rachel Vegas now, if they want to bring her back, there's an anticipation that it's not cheating. It's just that they're going to make sure they do what they can to protect their star of the show, so to speak. You know, Sari last couple of seasons ago, and it's just you have that expectation that their production's not going to go out of their way. They would like to have that person stick around as long as possible. Because of that, Tommy Bracco and I were talking about it. We said, man, both of us, as much as we would worry about having to play against Rachel, as much as we would fear her dominating and winning and and reaching again a lot of connections and all that going, early game, we both agreed, heck yeah, we would be reaching out to Rachel and saying, oh, my queen, we're here to help you. Can we just grovel at your feet? Just tell us what we need to do. We are happy to work with you. And let us please learn from your just symbiosis. Let's just hang out and learn by just watching how you play the game. Yeah, we would be kissing the ring, bending the knee, whatever it took to get on Rachel's good side. Not forever. Eventually, you got to turn on someone like that. But to start off, assume she's being protected. So Rachel's doing all this, talk about sending Ava out the door. And Mickey seems a little hesitant to do it. Rachel comes back a little bit later and says, this whole idea about sending Ava out, I'm not sure that's really such a good idea. And Mickey says, well, just so you know, I never considered it. I figured it's just Ava having a little bit of a moment. And Rachel said, yeah, that's all it was. Rachel, I'm pretty sure, went to the diary room after the first conversation. And I have a feeling the production team is probably saying, what is she doing? We didn't bring her here. We didn't give her another shot just to have her volunteer to go home pre-jury. So I'm sure they asked her, said, do you really want to go home? You really want that to be your legacy? Now, I'm not saying that they said you've got to stay or we're going to trash you in media or anything like that. I have a feeling it's just some encouragement of saying, look, you've got a legacy. You've still got the chance to do it. And don't give up to it. I have a feeling there was a little bit of a pep talk that Rachel got in there. And suddenly she's like, yeah, no, I'm here for a little bit longer. But as for your question, why haven't they put her up yet? I think they're afraid of her. Well, two, one, I think they're afraid of her. But two, she's done what she needs to do. She came into this house and she quickly kind of fell under the radar a little bit. I don't know if it's because of what she did or just because we have some strong personalities in this house. Why should she be the big target when you got Keanu in here and Kelly volunteering every week? And there's just a lot of other people that are getting all of the attention, all the focus right now. So Rachel can just sit back and let that happen and start playing the game a little bit later. She understands it's a long-term game, and some others don't realize that just yet. They will. They'll realize they're going to get exhausted at this point or at this stage. Jared Morris is saying Vince is on borrowed time too. Yeah, no, there's no one that feels like Vince is tight with them. He's got too many alliances and too many relationships as well. It's so funny. Jimmy was talking about that last night, this morning. He said, he's talking to Rachel. He said, Vince is he's talking to too many people. He's doing HOHs with everyone. Rachel has been saying the same thing forever. Jimmy said, I feel like I need to start making my line a little bit more defined of who I stand with and all that. Well, it may be a little too late now that you're on the block. But yeah, I think Jimmy and Vince have been playing a very similar game of being friendly, buddy with everyone in this house, which is great short term, but longer term, people eventually compare notes. People eventually start getting a little less trustful of people. I think that happened in my season a little bit when I was on the block versus Kat. And I think just because of this whole, does Mickey know Kat? Does Kat know Holly? All of that. Plus, they knew that Kat was kind of playing both sides a little bit. And I think Tommy and a few of the others started getting a little bit nervous about how tight maybe Kat was with some of the other people in the house. Whereas I was a little bit more of a free agent, at least they thought at the time. And I think that helped me survive that week. You got to be careful because as much as you declare allegiance to one person, you declare alliances with other folks as well for protection. But when they start comparing notes, you could be the one getting thrown under the bus real quick, which is why it's always important. If you reach that stage, make sure you throw someone else under the bus before they get a chance to do it to you. I did a little bit of that as well. All right, Leah saying, give Clearbrook a shout out. Okay, Clearbrook Wolverines, local high school. Hey, a shout out to Clearbrook. That's cool, Leah. Howdy, neighbor. All right, Miss Fire is saying, if Jimmy wins Blockbuster, who goes home? Very good thought. If Jimmy goes home, so it's Riley versus Kelly on the block, I think it's Kelly. I truly think there's too many people that have seen Kelly seem to excel at puzzles. And I think there's people that are maybe feeling a little sorry for Riley based on him losing his HOH. And I said when it first happened a couple of days ago, the takeover, it depended on how Riley responded. If he just became a bit of an ass through the rest of the week, it could cause issues for him. If he becomes a little more friendly and working with people and all that, I think that would help him. Right now, I think between the two, Kelly probably goes home because now Mickey doesn't have a vote, but I think people are going to be potentially willing to work a little bit more with Riley. They see Kelly, especially that side of the house. They see Kelly as someone who's willing to take big risk and is a little bit more of a wild card. Someone like Rachel, she figures that Kelly's going to come after her if she gets a chance. So I think a lot of that side of the house would probably send Kelly out the door. Does Kelly have support from people like Keanu? Yes, but I don't know that she has enough support. I think people would see this as an opportunity to get someone out the door who has been on the block so many times. Now, a lot of it depends on the campaigning. If I'm Kelly, I think I'm going to say, hey, look, you could send me home, but I'm going to volunteer to go on the block every week I'm in here. I'll make that a promise to you, in fact, if you'll keep me. Or just say, you're going to get me out eventually. I can't win every competition. I don't know. I feel like there's some things that you could do to play a little bit of a woe is me role and save it. But right now, if it came down to a vote, I think Riley has more sympathy. Certainly, he's got Kat supporting him. I think Riley probably survives the vote with Kelly. Don't think it's an anonymous. Don't think it's a unanimous vote either way, but probably Kelly goes home, which is unfortunate. It's her birthday week. You don't go home on your birthday week, right? I mean, Jasmine taught us that. Of course, Jasmine taught us you don't go home on your birthday month either. But it's kind of a shame. At least her birthday isn't on Thursday. I think it's Wednesday. But yeah, that's a heck of a birthday gift, isn't it? We'll find out. All right. Arno Stu 1 is saying, Morgan keeps saying we need to, like it's a dual HOH. Yeah, funny how people do that. And Jan K. Sorry, Jan. You could put an end on it, E on the end. It would have been great. Jan saying she was afraid to go with Vince because Morgan may be mad. Yeah, absolutely. And it would have. Morgan told her, said, look, if it's not just, I understand. Morgan trying to figure out some way to spin this. She said, I understand that you feel like Morgan, that Vince and Zach are a little closer to me than they are to you. And she said, I'm not denying it. We hang out a lot. And that's just what we do. She said, but if you take out Vince, it's not just that you're taking out someone that's not coming after you, but you're also taking out my main person to get me information. And we're going to be really hurting if I don't have him because he's telling me everything. And if you try to send him out the door, that's not going to work well. Yeah, Morgan would not be happy if Vince had gotten put up. Ed is saying Mickey made the right move for other people's games. Well, you may be right. And that's what I mean. If everyone wants someone gone, it makes you question, is it best for my game that person's gone? In some ways, having someone that no one wants gone except you maybe not be the end of the world, right? I mean, you got to balance that out a little bit in terms of who you're picking. But yeah, I get it. It's certainly going to benefit some other people's games. Now, it's going to weaken Rachel, which does Mickey and Morgan want that? Probably. So it's going to have some effects on others. Is it going to help with her relationship with Riley and Kat? Yeah, probably so. But people like I don't know. I think there's other people who you're right would benefit also. A lot of people are feeling burned by Jimmy. So yeah, but it's just weird the way it pulled this house together in some ways. They're not really together. There's a lot of stuff brewing underneath the calm surface that you seem to have right now. Isn't it crazy saying this calm surface, as much chaos has happened? But it seems like a lot of, now that Keanu's off the block, he's not going home this week. So it just seems like it's sharks coming in for a feeding frenzy on Jimmy. I think you may see more of that, especially if it starts seeming like the house is going to go ahead and vote out Jimmy. If that's the case, you're probably gonna have more and more people, more and more willing to kind of jump out and throw him under the bus and make sure they join the right side of the house, as they always say, to send him out the door. Which who would have thought that a week ago? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, let's see what else we've got on here. Mitchell Mills, Michelle Mills. Michelle, how are you saying? Why didn't production say something to Rachel when she was aggressively pushing and pulling on Keanu? If rules were reversed, production would have said something to Keanu. What can I say? It's we don't live in a perfect world when it comes to treatment of what's considered appropriate for some people and considered inappropriate for other people. They always told us when we were in there, no hands. Yeah, even if you've got to be careful, even just grabbing someone's wrist, not to hurt them, but even just you want to get someone that, hey, come here. Even grabbing someone's wrist, something like that, they told us you've got to be careful. You really need to be hands off with everyone. Nothing that is inappropriate, and that includes not just pushing and shoving, but playing with someone's hair or touching them when they stroking their arm when they don't want to be stroked. There's a lot of things that could be considered inappropriate. I think to some degree it depends on how the person who is being touched or manhandled or whatever, how they respond to it as well. Should that be taken into consideration? I don't know. In the grand scheme of things, if Keanu wasn't too upset with it, I'll leave that alone. I don't know, but you're right. Some people probably can get away with a little bit more than other people. We see that in every season. It's just production tries to be fair, but at the same time, they're doing a show as well. Lisa D is saying, prefer a 9-person jury, more opinions. I agree. We saw a lot of that today. A lot of people that are all saying it's going to be a 7-person jury. It's going to be 7. I don't know why they think that. Now, I guess I understand. I've heard talk before. 7-person jury means that the jury house doesn't start for 2 weeks later than otherwise it would, which means that suddenly production has 2 weeks less of renting a apparently very expensive house out in the middle of wherever they go for the jury house. I never went to the jury house. So I don't have a lot of info on the jury house, but I've heard that it's 2 less people they have to pay for food and pay stipends for and all that kind of stuff. So from a budgetary standpoint, okay, maybe there's a reason that you go 7 instead of 9, but I agree with you. 9 opinions are so much stronger than 7. With 7 votes, that means you only have to have 4 votes for someone to win. You go into the jury house and you got a couple of people you worked with, suddenly all you've got to do is convince 1 or 2 people. It just seems like it's a lot easier to have, and what's the right way to say this? A lot easier to have a blowout vote when you only have 7 people because you don't have as many people making the decisions. Whereas if you've got 9, during my season we had 9, and it took 5 votes to win. The difference between 5 votes to win and 4 votes to win, it doesn't seem like that much. It seems like only 1 vote, right? I did take math in school, but getting that extra vote, I agree. I think it's 7 just feels small to me in terms of giving someone $750,000. I'd prefer to go the other way. Go to 11? You've got to have people who've played the game long enough that they can understand the end game and all of that. Make it 11. Let them watch more of Big Brother, what happens than just the competitions and the votes. Let them see a little bit more of some of what happens. I don't know exactly how you make that happen, but Bigger is better in my opinion, but they didn't ask me either. I kind of think they'll go 9 jury members this season also, but I don't think it's been announced one way or the other. So, do you think it can't be? It can't be a matter of them waiting to see who the 8th and 9th person is, and then deciding whether or not is there going to be that level of manipulation. They're going to say, "Oh, so and so is the 9th person. We really don't want them on jury, so let's just make it 7." I don't think so. I think they've already got it decided. There's too much behind the scenes that goes on. People are going to say that because there's uncertainty. People are going to say, "Oh, they decided based on this and that." I don't think that's going to be the case. I hope they go with 9. If they go with 7, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be based on who those 2 extras are, whether I support it or not. Because I've got my favorites and less favorites, just like everyone else, right? All right. Robin is saying, Keanu reminds me of Josh. I can see that. Wonder how long before he bangs pots or pans together dancing around the house. Well, it almost wasn't Keanu. It was Riley, who at one point was saying, hey, if Cat goes up and it looks like they're going to vote Cat out of the house, I'm going to become the #1 villain. I'm going to make sure that everyone votes me out by going crazy. Now, I don't know that I know he has not seen enough seasons to probably even be aware of Evil Dick, but I bet someone would whisper in his ear at some point in time. I mean, I'm saying Riley, I don't know if he's seen us season. I don't think Keanu has either. Yeah, Keanu, he is a little bit like Josh. I kind of see that as well. You know who else he reminds me of? Josiah. Remember him? Was it Devon he was talking to at one point? He said, I'm the Messiah. He just felt like he was very much running the game. Now, Josiah didn't last long enough to have the impact that Keanu has. Keanu is interesting because normally I would look at his game and say, all right, well, he's going to be fun entertainment for a week or so. He's going to burn out. There's no way this lasts. He doesn't understand gameplay anywhere close enough to last in this game, which normally would be the case. But when you keep winning veto competitions, suddenly, you're like cucaracha. And so I will say this, Keanu's kind of growing on me. I Tim Cox is saying, starting to have second thoughts on Keanu. He might get further than I thought. All right, let me tell y'all. I was going to say deep dark secret. It's not, since I put it out on my preseason cast assessment. I had Ashley winning this season of Big Brother. I'm not sure. I'm not going to Vegas putting a lot of money on that bet just yet. I had Keanu coming in second place, and I think I had Kat coming in third place, if I recall, or Morgan. I need to go back and check. I don't remember my third place, but yeah, I had Keanu coming in second place. If you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago if I would stand by that, not a chance in the world. I'm still not sure second is where Keanu ends up. But having said that, Shannon Gammons saying, love Keanu's delusional self. He's, as I said last week, one-man alliance, and he's playing his own game, and he just happens to be surrounded by other people in the house. But yeah, I still don't think he makes it to second place. Could he make it to jury? Maybe. You know what? At some point, two things happen. At some point, you hang around enough that people get tired of trying to get you out over and over again, and they start seeing bigger targets develop. It's like, all right, well, he's irritating. He follows us in everywhere. He breaks up conversations everywhere, but we're used to it. It's, yeah, I've put up with it for 4 weeks. At this point in time, there's other people that are irritating me more, or other people that I feel are bigger threats to my game than Keanu. And suddenly people start looking elsewhere just because they've been looking at him for so long. You also may reach a point, and we've heard some of these arguments, where people start saying, there's no way Keanu is ever going to win Big Brother. So why am I going to be in such a hurry to send him out the door on my HOH run? Are we going to reach a point at some point where Keanu goes from this huge target that people are worried about to a Victoria from season 16, where everyone has to make agreements that you can't take that person to the end? If you do, we're going to vote against you because that person does not deserve to go to the final two. Could we see a situation where eventually everyone's like, no one's going to vote for Keanu over me. Why should I get rid of him? I'm taking him all the way as far as I can go with this game. Keanu is very isolated right now. He could end up the belle of the ball at some point. Now, having said that, he's got to change his game plan. He's got time. He could do little things like he did with Morgan and Mickey, saying, hey, look, you Yeah, I'll admit it. I called you a snake. I'll admit I was coming after you, but I only because I thought you were coming after me. If Keanu is getting his feet underneath him enough that he starts playing the game differently, people are going to forget the first couple of weeks, and there may be life to Keanu yet. I'm for it. I felt sorry for the guy. I'm not justifying his gameplay. I think it's been bad gameplay, but I hate to see anyone in any season that is ostracized and not allowed to interact with other people. And I think to some degree, some of it's self-served or self-induced, but still, I'm feeling for the guy. He's got to grow on me a little bit. All right, 7:55 is amazing. Jan K saying, will Riley get to play for HOH next week? What about Mickey? Yes, I think Riley gets to play next week. I don't know about Mickey. That's a good question. I was getting ready to say I think she does, but I think now that she's taken over his HOH and made the noms and all of that, I'm not sure that she does. I don't. Y'all tell me. Has anyone said it official? I've not seen it published or coming from any of the official sources, whether that's the case or not. She's the HOH. She made the nomination. She came in. She got letters. She got everything that you should get as an HOH. That tells me that you should get to, or that you shouldn't compete in the next one. Didn't we have last season when Quinn won the anonymous one? He was supposed to be it was a secret HOH, and he was told he had to throw the competition, if I recall. So even he was not allowed to compete. If he wasn't allowed to compete, then there's no way Mickey should be allowed to compete this week. And I think that's one of the reasons Mickey has done some of this damage control with people like Riley, because if she can't compete, then you don't want people coming after you when you're vulnerable, which happens when you're outgoing HOH. So yeah, my impression, my assumption is she will not be allowed to. If y'all have heard differently, let me know now or send me a DM or something later so I can talk about on my morning show. I don't think that she can, though. All right, Ma is saying Rachel is sensible now. Loved when she told off Kat on last night's episode. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Lynn Gideon saying Rachel's playing a floaters game. Let everyone think that she's a harmless married mom all the while she is plotting. I 100% agree with both of y'all. She's been looking up those cameras every once in a while. She's playing on people's sympathies, very much so. And talking about how I want everything back in my season. You had to back then, and now I can't win anything. And she's trying to keep herself under the radar as much as absolutely possible. Keanu called her a floater, which we laughed at, but I'm not sure that's necessarily a bad thought at all. Yeah, Rachel's going to do fine. She knows what this game is all about. So yeah, I think I think Rachel's in for the long haul. So we shall see. All right, what else? 7:56. That's probably bad. Let's see. Cindy Hire saying Kelly could win Big Brother Blockbuster again. It all depends. And I think Kelly said something earlier today. She said, one of these, I'm not going to win every Blockbuster. One of these is going to be something that I can't do. And when that happens, then I'm in a lot of trouble. So yeah, she's a lot like Tucker last week. Yeah, you just can't keep rolling the dice and thinking they're going to come up sevens every time. Eventually you're going to get snake eyes, and it's going to happen to Kelly at some point. She needs to figure out a different strategy. But Lord, we're talking about her a lot, right? Every week she's got something new that intrigues me about her. Now she is very upset with who's she upset with? I think she's upset with I can't remember that. With Vince. The Adrian vote. Vince was talking about how she said, "You've hurt me. You just destroyed me, Vince. I mean, you turned on Adrian. You and Zach turned on Adrian." If I'm Vince, I'm a little bit worried that Kelly is so upset with me right now. She blamed Vince. She blamed Zach a lot also. So Kelly's playing the game as well. She's going to be an interesting person to meet once she gets out of this house at some point as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, real quick. Let's see. Nate Clark is saying, who would be your ride or die this season if you were in the house? Gosh, it depends so much on whose position I was taking over. Let's pretend like I'm playing in the position of Will, the older guy. I don't know why I'd pick him out of everyone, but I'll just throw out Will as if I was in his spot. You know who my ride or die would probably be? Ava. I think Ava is playing a brilliant game right now. She's fun to watch. No one has issues with her. No one's going to vote her out of the house. She's a little bit under the radar, but she still has some opinions in the game. I think she was part of what flipped over and got Adrian out of the house. Jimmy had told her she had told Zach and Vince that, hey, I'm not voting to send out Will. I mean, I'm just not doing it. Next thing you know, Adrian's heading out the door. So Ava's playing a little bit under the radar, but she still has some influence and stuff. I would be riding or dying with Ava. She also seems very loyal at this point in time. Riley also seems very loyal, so I would consider trying to work with him. But he also strikes me as very much a do your own thing. Don't listen to old Cliff's opinion if he's got some suggestions, and he's a little too out there for that as well. So I would probably be a ride or die with Ava while still trying to maintain relationships with everyone else in the house. I was going to say maybe not to the level of Jimmy or Vince, but it's hard. I mean, as a lot of people say, you never say no when someone approaches you and wants to work with you. But next thing you know, you've kind of overcommitted. All right, Doreen Morris is saying, who do you want to win HOH this week? Well, I thought Riley winning was a fun one. Who would I want to win? You know, I kind of think a Keanu HOH would be interesting. What would it be like to have Keanu as HOH and having everyone go up to the HOH room and having to do one-on-ones with Keanu and kind of bending the knee to him? That could be a whole heck of a lot of fun. Who else would you not expect that just would be out of the blue? You don't know what they're going to do. Ava and Will would be interesting. Riley would kind of be interesting. Well, Riley would be interesting for a couple of reasons. One, I want him to get pictures of his family. I want him to get a letter from home. I hope he gets that before he heads out the door. Just karma and all that kind of stuff. But I'm also very curious to see, would Riley honor some of these supposed agreements he's got with Mickey and Morgan and all of that? Would he work with them? Whose side would Riley go after at this point in time? Who would he target? That would be very interesting. So of everyone, I'm going to put out two names. I'd like to see either a Riley or a Keanu HOH, not because I'm necessarily their biggest supporters or anything else, but just because I think it would be very interesting to see how they play the game from a position of power. We'll find out. Riley had some very definite people he wanted to put up last week. I'm not sure those names are the same this week, and that would be what would be very interesting to watch. So y'all tell me. All right, I'm watching y'all's feeds, and a lot of people putting out different names real quick. I'm telling y'all, we've all got our favorites. We've all got the people we're cheering for. The lines are drawn amongst the viewers in terms of who we're for and against, even if it's not quite there inside the house. We've all drawn the lines out here, haven't we? So be nice when you're out on social media talking about the ones that you don't like so much. All right, guys, with that, we're going to shut it down. It's 8 o'clock. I knew we'd talk the whole hour on this stuff. Guys, have a fantastic Monday. Who knows what this week is going to bring? We'll have, who knows what HOH we'll have next week. Who knows who we'll have in that house. It's going to be a fun week. Y'all enjoy the week. It's the first week of August. Yeah, first week of August. Have a great first week of August. School's starting up for some of y'all pretty quick, so get your summer in while you still can. Have a great week. If I don't see you till next Monday, I'll see you then. But otherwise, I am doing the morning recaps. Go in, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, hit the old thumbs up. I'll be out here tomorrow morning giving 20, 30-minute recap on everything that happened overnight, and I'll do that throughout the rest of the season. No sleep, but I'm having a blast watching Big Brother. Guys, have a great week. I will see y'all later. Until then, SKD143. Cheers, my friends. Bye. How do I end this? Yeah, push that button right there. I need to get some sleep. Next month. Guys, have a great one. Cheers, my friend.